Hey, what's going on? Welcome. I'm RJ. This is The Cave. You are awesome. And thank you very much for joining me for this Floyd Rose string changing video. Now, we've done videos like this in the past. We tend to find that they get the views that they get and then they disappear into the nothingness here on YouTube. So it's a good idea that we do them once in a while. To keep it fresh this time, I decided to bring in some assistance in the form of special guest tools, let's call them. First item we've got here is the 3-in-1 tool, guitar tool. It has a bridge pin puller. It has the string cutter, which hopefully can actually cut through strings. We're going to find out. And the string winder. We're also going to be using the JJYY, don't you just love that name, guitar tuner. This is a clip-on tuner. We're going to be using this to tune the strings. All right, we're going to be using the other guy to cut the strings and wind the strings. But then we still need one more thing. Fender guitar strings, of course, right? I mean, if they're on wish.com for $1, they must be real, right? So we purchased a set to see just what the deal really is with these. And they're going to go on Harley-Tipped. So that's what we're going to be using. In addition to that, we're just going to be using an Allen key to unlock the tremolo. Dunlop fretboard oil we're going to put on the fretboard while we've got the strings off. A rag to clean everything between string changes. And I've already taken the liberty of taking off the back plate for the guitar. I'm going to use this to hold up the bridge and keep it more or less at level while I do the whole string change process. All right, this is the simplest way to make sure that you don't have significant issues getting the guitar into tune when you have all the strings on. All right. All right, so the first thing we got to do is we got to take the back plate and we got to put it underneath the bridge here. We're just going to make sure we lift it up enough so that we can get this under here firmly so that it'll stay there under its own. It's okay that it's under pressure. It's not going to get warped. Next, we unlock everything up here. Now, because we're going to be testing the string cutter, I'm just going to loosen these and then cut them off. Just for safety's sake, I'm going to loosen them a little first. So now we're going to see if this thing even cuts. Hey, it did it. Let's see if it makes it through all 6. All right. Oh, 2 little ones at once. Oh, look at that. Oh, that might have been all 3 little ones at once. All right. At this point, I've cut through all the strings. The cutters worked fine, and gotten the top parts of the strings from the headstock cut and taken off. Well, taken off. I already told you to cut. I also took the liberty of putting some fretboard oil on the fretboard, and now I'm just going to give it a quick rub in. Contrary to popular belief, you do not need to let it sit and let it soak in. It's not meant to be a moisturizer for your fretboard. It's just meant to really clean the dirt. You can do it, I'm sure it's fine, especially if your fretboard's dry, but you know, as I understand it, that's what I know anyway, so that's what I've been told. So now I'm just going to loosen up these guys, take these out, and at that point I'm just going to cut the strings, put them in, and you'll see me just cut the ends off the strings, and that'll be about it. All right, and next time you see it, it'll be all set up. To fit in a Floyd Rose bridge is a block inside of another block, and you push that small block, the inner block, this way against the string so that it's forced to stay in place against the outer block, right, which is the actual bridge saddle. All right. In order to do that, you need to get rid of that. Okay. So that's how you do that. Now, the end of this string is so thin that even though there's windings on here, it doesn't grip the inner block that well. So these will pull out occasionally on more inexpensive trims like this one. So, because this is an inexpensive version of a Floyd Rose. What I do is I take the very tip, and I mean just the very tip, and I put it in my cutters just enough so that it's not cutting the tip, it's just so we use it to bend. And then I try and bend that over. Just enough so that I can get it in there, and now I have more surface area holding onto the block. And that goes in the block. And we're going to cut off all 6 of these. We don't have to bend all the strings, just the first 2, the B and the E string. At this point, the strings are on, but they are not tuned. They are just pulled to enough tension so that the locking tuners don't have to make too many winds, because you're really not supposed to wind a locking tuner more than half a turn or so. At least that's what I was always told, so that's the way I string up things when I have a guitar with locking tuners. Alright, at this point I'm going to start the tuning. Alright, at this point the guitar's all strung up, the strings are on, they need to stretch, and I need to play it and test the strings. As far as everything else goes, check for the reviews for this guy, for the string winder, and the separate one for the strings, alright? Just remember, when you're doing a Floyd Rose, be sure to use the back plate underneath the Floyd Rose to keep it level. This assumes you're using a Floyd Rose that goes both ways. Most of us these days are. Make sure that you take the fine tuners and you bring them all the way up to their full extension, and then dial them back about 2 full turns so you have a little room, so that if you need to unwind the strings using the fine tuners, you can do that. Patience is the key with the Floyd Rose and getting the strings right. But if you put something underneath the Floyd to keep it level, it makes it a lot easier. Alright? Don't forget, if you got anything out of this, like the video, subscribe, ring the notification bell. This way you don't miss out on the reviews and anything else that we're doing. And these days we're trying to do a lot, believe it or not. So you don't want to miss out, alright? You've been awesome. I've been RJ. Until the next one, take care.